Going on, everybody? Brandon here. Welcome back. A little bit of the update on small account challenge. Raked in about 340 bucks today. All to be determined because all of these covers and swings could change violently throughout the day's lock-ins here. But generally, we got most of the picks correct today. Hoping for the downside to continue on most of the market stuff here. As you can see, kind of the positions here on the P&L, we got about 64 bucks on SPY. Netflix was that 190 random hold that I had auto-filled yesterday that we talked about. I'm like, well, hopefully it goes up. Well, if I just would have held that, it would have been worth hundreds more because Netflix went on an absolute tear today, right? And Baba was just a layover close that had reversed on us on a short, didn't have a good cover on. This was just a spread as itself. Amazon was a spread play to the short side. Nvidia had a couple open on this one. The first bigger winner I had on Nvidia today was the 147 puts. I took 3 puts and I wasted my last day trade on it just to get that pop and dump in the market open, which we talked about in chat. That was the main play off the bat. And then a little loser on Apple. Had some technical issues with Tasty that we might cover. But end all be all, 340 bucks on the small account. Not a bad little rake in. Let's talk about the SPY just a tad bit. Absolutely insane. It's funny if you look at the 1 minute chart here. And it breaks out of the ending 4-hour wedge that we got with our gray lines, and it just taps it. All you needed was the tap, the confirmation of strength. Right here, down to the T, it's just the tap, resistance, tap, confirmation of strength, and away she went, and then the higher low for later confirmation and ran out. The funniest thing is it just avoided the wedge for the rest of the whole day. Like pre-market, it breaks out of the wedge, comes back, taps it, and then the whole day it just stays way up here. And comes back down. Had a really big sell-off. Let's take a look at the 4 hours, see what happened. We talked about this in the morning, guys. We said, well, the 50 EMA is going to come up in the 4 hour. It's looking really strong, which it did the whole 4 hour mark. But what did I tell you about this pocketed channel right here for resistance? Already running out. We had a ton of resistance. This was the channel I talked about. Does it come up here? And I said it's going to have trouble with the 2 previous highs. It's a nice first pullback there. In pre-market here. To a big pullback down to the 90 EMA for support, and then rocketed up. And then this was that resistance block we had talked about. And sure shit, definitely did not like that resistance block. She sold off a little more than I anticipated, all the way back down to one of the golden weekly lines, and then right through the end of the wedge there. So the Nvidia trade, we'll cover that one real quick. Can't give you guys too much. Opening here, I expected a sell-off in the push, just the way it was acting all pre-market. Wasn't responding to the market well, wasn't responding to the huge up. It had a complete divergence, failed VWAP. I shorted just a blind into the push, risking 150 for recovery as a stop out. So I just took it anywhere in here, just dropped it, whatever. Instant resolution, covered the rest of it down here. It was like just about a $300 trade. Check. Yeah, $297. And that was just utilizing my day trade, just locking that in, and you know, so on and so forth. And then the other SPYs that we took were a couple short sides. When I seen the market rollover start to happen right here, I have the 2 trend lines where I entered the short positions on SPY. And then when I came all the way down to test the 4 hour trend, just in case, I did take a couple overnight puts, very small size, max loss of $70, just in case it bounced over just to... Oh, I'm sorry, I took some calls right here. I took some 268 calls, just singles, just in case all this profit lot coming down in here. I took some calls here just in case it held the 4 hour wedge and came back up. And yeah, it didn't so far. Broke through the wedge and then failed the bottom of the wedge here and pretty much completely avoided the wedge. So just the funniest thing. It completely avoided the wedge the whole day. It just, it's hilarious. But yeah, so it is what it is today, guys. It was a decent day. Racked up a few hundred. As you know, as some of you seen in chat, Robinhood is all done. They just pretty much just locked my account. They shut down options trading. Twitter was blowing up. I couldn't get any of my positions. I was going to cover some of those sells that we had on Netflix way up on the top and try to catch this top. I'll show you the first 2 positions I tried to sell and my account was locked. I tried to cover them here just to anticipate the backside with the resistance. It didn't fill, and I tried again, and it didn't fill. Which again, I expected the backside. I was just waiting for the crosses. This is the first 50 cross, and I was gonna risk an extension play. It was too extended from the VWAP here. A lot of guys know that I like to play the percentage game, and I have a few percentages in mind. when it comes to the extension game and how far something is traveling away from VWAP. And yeah, it's a very, very sad thing on Robinhood, because all the puts I had were underwater by X amount, and the sell puts that I had were big time in the money. So what you wanted to do there is purchase those sell puts back up at the top, and then let the initial leg, the put, run all the way back down, thus locking in the profit of the sell of insurance, and then letting the put run, and then selling it, because those were something we took out yesterday. And then they completely locked my account, completely screwed me out of all the profit here. So not quite sure what's going on with that. Doesn't even matter. I'm just gonna let them expire. Take the remaining like $900 or $800 or whatever's in there left. They'll probably just throw it over to Tasty, so we have maybe a little bit more capital to play with. But overall, really good day. Executions works perfectly. Market orders works perfectly. Besides a little bit of issues on the Apple trade, it was weird. For some odd reason, they had placed me when I was trading in the Apple. You see these 21s, and usually I'm doing week of, so the options are cheaper. And I lost this first one here, and I went to go cover, and it was fine. And then the second one, when I tried to cover these, the couple other positions, it ended up filling me at one of the 14s and two of the 21s. And Tastyworks, it showed as a 14 but filled as a 21. I had to call them, and they said they'd check back with me, and then hours later they got back to me. But all of this loss was equated to not being able to cover the position for like 15 minutes while I was on the phone with them. So I couldn't sell a put to cover or kind of cap an exponential loss, right? So this was red for most of the day. I was actually down to like a $50 profit or red for a little bit, and then the whole market crash, everything came true as far as our 4 hour and our analysis. I was just a little early, but I was right. Mason, is you watching this? That's a famous quote. So it worked out today. That's all I got for you guys today. Just a quick little update. Tastyworks is worth every penny. Can't wait to progress. Nice little $300 morning. We'll see what tomorrow brings us. Hope you guys have a good rest of the day.